Hello everyone and thanks for watching.
Hey everyone, it's Bill with Computer Garage. I thought I'd use my own voice today instead of the digital ones. So I had a client ask me if it was true or not that internet service providers intentionally throttle back their customers' internet over time. Is it true? It's not that simple. It's not a simple yes or no question. It's a lot more complex than a simple yes or no answer. So we have to go into a lot of detail. So we're going to get into that right about now. So the link that was provided to me was for actually an advertisement, and if you're not paying attention to it, it does say advertisement up at the top, but very small print. I circled it in red. Can't really see it there because it is a snip of a website, but it is there, and it's really, really small, so you're not supposed to notice it. But this advertisement is laid out kind of like a news article to make it almost sound legit. That's a little deceptive to me. It's not until you get all the way to the bottom do you see the disclaimer that this is an advertisement. It's not a legitimate news article. Again, all the way to the bottom. I think I must have scrolled about 6, 7 times before I got to the bottom and see this. Anyways, as you can see, this is an advertisement. It's not a real article. So, as with anything, they're trying to sell you something. And when they sell you something, they want you to be as best as possible. Da 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 da. I kind of find it a little sneaky. Now that we know this article is not actually an article, that it's actually an advertisement, their goal is to get you to buy something, whatever they're selling, whether it be a product or a service. In this particular case, they're selling a product, and of course, they're trying to make their product be in the best light possible. Cures everything from slow Wi-Fi to not getting fast enough service, so on and so forth. So, this is the purpose of an advertisement: is to make their product look really, really good. Their first claim: they, your internet service providers, will give you the speed that you ask for, but they will throttle back your bandwidth and electronically tamper with your router, which is convenient combined with your modem, which is nowadays, this is how you get internet slower over the course of time. This is not exactly true. Again, especially in our area, especially not true for the client who asked me this question. Yes, they can, but no, they don't do it in general. See, now the client who asked me this question has AMBTnet, which is a DSL internet service provider. And in their case, their DSL modem has one phone line going in and one Ethernet going out. There's no router that's combined with the modem. So this particular client has her own Wi-Fi router. Even if the client did have a combo unit, which is a modem router, much like how Frontier does it, it still wouldn't matter. The max speed for DSL in our internet area, max speed for DSL in our area is 7 megabits per second. That's all the faster it's going to go, and 95% of the time you are not going to achieve that 7 megabits per second because we have old, crappy, ancient phone lines, and the internet service providers, Frontier, CenturyLink, AMBTnet, they're not going to pay money to upgrade the phone lines in our service area. So 7 megabits for DSL is all you're ever going to get. Now, for the people who have wireless internet service providers, this is going to be antenna, cellular, satellite. Whether you have a combo router modem or not, internet throttling is very much part of your service. As for your internet speeds, it's going to wildly fluctuate depending upon weather conditions and the number of people who are online using the same service as you are at any given moment, the number of devices that are connected to your home or business router, along with all the other homes and businesses along the same line as you are. So I've seen these types of services as slow as 1 megabit per second. I've seen them as high as 100 plus megabits per second, and that's usually out of the cellular networks. The closer you are to a cell phone tower using mobile data, the faster it goes. So for those who have mobile internet services, yeah, the throttling is very much part of your service agreement and contract. It's in there somewhere. For those of us who have cable internet service providers, this is going to be your Spectrum and your Buckeye in our area. Many of you already have the combo router router and modems, as mentioned in the advertisements. Most of us are already receiving speeds at 100 plus megabits per second, but in reality, when doing speed testing, you're only going to get about 80 megabits per second. And if you ever want to question this, when you call into your respective cable companies and you talk about theoretical speeds, they'll tell you that yes, you're supposed to get 100, but theoretically you're only going to get 80% of that. So that's how they justify that 20% speed reduction in your internet speeds on cable. It's called theoretical speed. It just absolutely drives me insane, but hey, what can you do about it? But anyways, for cable, obviously you're a lot faster. You don't have to worry so much about throttling back because the lines are designed to handle so much more faster than what we're given. So there's no real need to throttle back people who are on cable. Now, to further demonstrate to this, this is a screenshot of a speed test done on my computer here in the shop, here in the Clyde location. As you see, we have Spectrum Business. We are entitled to 100 megabits per second and 10 up. At the current time of this speed test, I had 9 computers, 1 phone, and 1 printer hooked up to the network, all of us doing various things on the internet. As you can see, my download speed was 77.63, and so that's pretty close to the theoretical speed. And of course my upload speed was 10 and I got 11, so hey, I'm not complaining about that. But again, that's why I was saying your theoretical speed is usually about 80% of what you're promised. Now here's where the fun begins. Regardless of who your internet service provider is, if you called them and told them you was experiencing slow internet speed, the first thing they're going to have you do is reboot your device. Either they can do it remotely themselves, or they're going to tell you to go over to your DSL modem, your cable modem, etc., and pull the power cord, wait 30 seconds, plug it back in and let it reboot. If your router is separate from your modem, you're going to have to do the same thing roughly at the same time. So both devices are recycling or power cycling at the same time. So what this is doing, your routers and your modems are basically just mini computers inside of this. They're special function. They do one thing well. They receive the internet and they send the internet off to where it needs to go. So usually rebooting your devices cures the slow internet speed that you're getting about 90% of the time. Not always, but 90% of the time. So anybody who's experiencing this, probably the first thing I'm going to tell you, the first thing they're going to tell you, reboot your device and see if that fixes the problem. Back to the original question that was asked, does your internet service provider throttle your internet speed? In our area, generally, no, but there are times when there is high demand, when there's high demand, there's various pieces of equipment out there that's attached to your network. This is going to be your load balancer, your smart hubs, your switches, inline stuff that are hanging on the telephone poles. That is provided to you. Well, it's not to you, but it's a part of your network. And these devices are designed to speed up and slow down your internet connection, and it's not you specifically. It's usually a group of you. It's designed to speed up and slow down the internet to keep the network stable. Because, I mean, who wants to go a whole day without internet? AMBT Net found that out a couple of years ago when they was down for 4 days and cost them a whole heck of a lot of money for those 4 days that they were down. So yeah, they don't intentionally throttle back your internet. And they're not targeting you specifically. It's the equipment that does the throttling, and it's only for just a few seconds at a time. It sees that there's a network traffic congestion going on. It's going to throttle back on certain areas, kick it up in other areas to get that traffic moving along on the internet. And so, yeah, if you're experiencing a little bit of a slowdown after a reboot on your device, more than likely, then it is the devices that are in line with your connection who is responsible for making sure the internet works properly for you and for your group and for your service area. So that's not a surprise. It's not an intentional thing. It's just how they keep the entire internet going at any particular time. Now, the second claim for this advertisement was your internet service provider, splits the speed between 2 channels so they can tell you that you're getting the same speed, but you're only using 1 channel at a time. So they're really dividing it in half, so you have to buy an upgrade for their package. True, but not exactly. Again, not exactly as simple as they kind of like put it out there. Yes, I mean, all your internet service providers want you to buy the ungodly, unaffordable premium package. That you have all the bells and whistles that they're going to charge you an ungodly amount of money. I know they came to us and asked us if we wanted to have a fiber internet connection here, which would give us 10 gigabytes of internet for the office. And then they told us it was $585 a month. No, I can't afford that. Sorry. So yeah, I mean, do they split it? No. It's not split in that particular fashion. So the statement is true, but it's not true, and we're going to explain to you why that is. So, I mean, yeah, you're using one channel, da 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 da. We'll discuss it a little bit more further down the road, but it's not exactly true. But I mean, they do things to hopefully um, get you to upgrade, such as like offering a newer package, or they're going to offer you a special deal, or unfortunately, Spectrum is this way. It's screw the existing customers, we want all the new ones, and then of course they screw all the new ones a year later when they jack up the prices. So this is just how it works. But no, they're not splitting the channels in half. The speed you get is the speed you get. There's no splitting here. The splitting all comes from inside your home, and we'll explain that here in the next clip. Regardless of who your internet service provider is, the internet comes to your home, it hits your modem, it hits your router, then it splits. And this is because this is what routers do. They split the signal. They are designed to take that single internet incoming line and split it to all the different devices you need. This is what a router does. It splits the signal. Now, how that is done between the different router manufacturers, that's a trade secret. They're not coming off of it, but it's kind of like a machine gun. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rapid succession. Routers run at about 1.2 gigahertz, kind of like a computer. So it's firing off those commands that fast. So it comes in, it splits, it goes down lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, lane 4 Wi-Fi. Lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, lane 4 Wi-Fi. It does it that fast. So it's one connection at a time, but it's really, really, really fast. So if you're getting a slowdown, it's going to be more on the Wi-Fi than it is on the Ethernet side. It can happen, but again, this is where just turning off the cable modem, turning off your router, letting them set for about 30 seconds, plug them back in, reboot, and normally it fixes it because, well, a router and a cable modem and a DSL modem, they are just miniature versions of a computer that do the same thing, so they need to be restarted every once in a while. So again, just that's the first step, restart them. Here's where the problem lies. Wired connections are almost always faster than Wi-Fi, regardless of what the Wi-Fi router says. In general, Ethernet connections are considered dedicated connections. It's 1-to-1 on the Ethernet port on the router. 1-to-1, dedicated. Therefore, it is always faster. Wi-Fi is a shared connection. You can have many devices on one Wi-Fi connection. I know that's just how it is. Why it's not a dedicated system, I don't know. There are frequencies and channels that you can use, but in general, Wi-Fi is a shared connection. So when that connection goes out, it broadcasts it out, says, "Hey, computer number 3 on Wi-Fi, this is your packet. Computer number 4 on on the Wi-Fi, this is your packet." So this is why Wi-Fi is generally slower than Ethernet. Very rare do you ever see Wi-Fi beat Ethernet, even on a traditional line. Most Ethernet cables are 100 megabits per second, which is pretty much what we all got on cable, 100 megabits, but we don't ever see it. Wi-Fi, yeah, very rarely I've ever seen it, and that's because the Wi-Fi router has been modified to do such a thing. But in general, no, Ethernet's faster than Wi-Fi, regardless of what the router says. Another thing that plays into this is the Wi-Fi protocols. Wi-Fi protocols matter. There is protocols B, G, and AC. AC is being the current technology. And going in order of speed, it is 1154, 450, and 1300 megabits per second in that order. So let me ask you a question though. If your internet speed is 100 megabits, but your router says it'll go 1.3 gigabits, are you going to see 1.3 gigabits? No, it's not possible because you're only going to go as fast as the internet coming in. So, but Wi-Fi protocols do matter because when it comes to that shared connection, this is where it's going to chop it up even more. So, as in the previous slide, I was talking about, computer 3 on the Wi-Fi, here's your packet, computer 4, here's your packet, computer 5, here's your packet on Wi-Fi. If you have multiple protocols being used, your internet is going to be, of course, the slowest computer with the slowest protocol is going to slow the whole thing down. So most of you are probably with me so far, but we're going to use a little bit of math to explain this even more. And of course, this is going to be a bad example, but it is the simplest way to explain it. So you've got 100 megabit internet coming into your house. Great. You got 4 wired devices and 10 Wi-Fi devices. So here's what happens. So theoretically, you take the speed that you got at 100 megabits divided by 5 because you have 4 connections and 1 Wi-Fi. So that's going to give you roughly 20 megabits per device or per connection. So this is where, okay, computer 1 on Ethernet 1 is going to get 20, computer 2 on Ethernet 2 is going to get 20, computer 3 on Ethernet port 3 is going to get 20, computer 4 on Ethernet port 4 is going to get 20, and then everyone on the Wi-Fi is going to split the 20. So if you have 10 devices on a Wi-Fi, don't be surprised if you see 2 megabits or less. Again, this is where it goes on to those protocols. Your protocols is going to chop it up even more. B is slower, so it's going to slow it down even more. AC is faster, so it's going to speed it up even faster. But in general, this is how it works. This is why you have slow internet. You have too many devices in your house. In general, not always. There are things you could do that speed this up, but in general, you have one connection coming in and you got to split it up amongst all your devices. Now here's the third claim that this company or this advertisement was saying, that by using their device, they're going to take all your split channels that are coming from your router and blast it across your house. Trust me, man, this is going to fix all your speed troubles. This is a bold-faced lie. I can't tell you how much of this is a lie. This is just a lie of an enormous portion because that's not how routers work. That's not how Wi-Fi repeaters work. It's just outright a bold-faced lie. There's no device out there can take especially if it's not attached, there is no device out there that can take split channels and put them together. Your channels are split according to your router. If you have 4 Ethernet ports, it's going to be split 4 ways. If you have 4 Ethernet ports and a Wi-Fi, it's going to be split 5 ways. There's nothing, no device out there that will put those 4 channels or 5 channels back together into one. It's not possible. That's a bold-faced lie. When you finally get to see what their device is that they're selling that claims they're going to give you the best internet speed in the whole wide world, you come to find out it's just a Wi-Fi router or a Wi-Fi repeater. Just a Wi-Fi repeater. Nothing special. This technology has been around forever. We've had them for a long time. You can go to Staples, you can go to Best Buy, you can go to Walmart and buy Wi-Fi repeaters and put them in your house. And guess what? They'll work just as good as this device does here. Nothing special at all. Now let me tell you about more lies that are in this advertisement. We'll extend the range of your Wi-Fi. Okay, that's true. Okay, we'll give them that one. We'll boost the speeds to twice as fast. Lies. If your router can only go, or if your Wi-Fi router is using N protocol, as fast as it's going to go is 450 megabits per second. And that's if you're going from computer to computer inside the network. No, you can't double that. It's not physically possible. It's not even theoretically possible. And they're going to combine all of these into one super fast speed that goes 750 megabits per second. Lies, because the protocols don't work that way. Again, N protocol is 450 megabits per second max speed. Protocol AC is 1.3 gigabits per second max speed. You could take an AC protocol and go down to 750 megabits, but that's not making it faster. That's actually going slower, isn't it? So, so they also claim that there's an external antenna that allows you for better, more consistent performance. Yeah, if you're closer enough to it. That's how Wi-Fi routers work. The closer you are, the stronger the signal, the better the performance. If your Wi-Fi router is on one side of the house and you're on the other, if that signal has to go through 6 walls and 2 floors, no, you're going to get the crappiest service in the world. This is why you need a Wi-Fi repeater. You put one in between and one at the other end of the house. They catch the signal and boom, there you go. You got Wi-Fi signal all over the place, and it's much more faster, the speed is consistent, and you're going to perform better. This is what repeaters do. They catch the signal and they boost it back out again. They can't make it go any faster, but they can make it better, stronger, for your home. So, yeah, just more lies from this company just absolutely boggles me. So in conclusion, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Your internet speed is only going to go as fast as it can go and what you're paying for. Again, going back to what we were saying about Frontier and AMBTnet, 7 megabits per second is what you're going to get in our area. That's just how it is, unfortunately. Wireless, obviously, it's going to fluctuate from how close you are to the nearest tower, and so on and so forth. Again, that's network throttling is a part of your life there. For cable, most of us have 100 megabit service. That's all you're going to get. I don't care how fast that router says it'll go. You could have the newest, greatest router in the world that says it'll go 200 million times faster than the speed of light. If your internet is only going at 100 megabits per second, that is all you're going to get. So if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, and that's exactly what this device is. It sounds too good to be true. It's a Wi-Fi repeater. That's all it is. It's just a Wi-Fi repeater. You can get them anywhere.
This video is brought to you by Computer Garage, your personal computer repair and IT specialists, with 2 store locations and covering all of North Central Ohio. Super fast service and great rates. Computer Garage, your personal computer repair and IT specialists.